invite everyone to take as comfortable position as you can and get ready to this amazing demonstration as Blue will share with us.
Okay, so I'm making the assumption that people who are drawn to listening and viewing with us today, um, by the nature of the people who are going to be interested, I'm imagining that some of your coaches, healers, people who are really wanting to kind of reconnect with your soul and share your gifts in the world.
That's right.
So let's have a look and see if there's something that we could maybe work on to heal, should we say heal, clear, maybe accelerate for you. Maybe it's something that's there for you already, but we can have the intention today to maybe even put that even more online for you today. But what we'll call it a separation pattern, something that's separating you either maybe for some of you as a big blockage, or maybe for some of you it's just a little thing that's blocking you on your path right now. And the assumption we make in soul transformation therapy is that anything that's creating separation for you is what we call a polarity, because when we're totally in unity, one of the features is we're feeling, or we realize our true reality, which is connection with everybody and everything. But when we're experiencing issues in the world, and this is an assumption of soul transformation therapy, it's because we experiencing ourselves as a separate individual. And one of the features of being a separate individual, feeling separated from other people and everything, is we experience things in terms of polarities. So polarity would be, for example, war and peace. That's a big one. It's something we see in the world. We see it, unfortunately, there's wars on at the moment. Probably most people here will be aware of the situation in Ukraine. But there's wars and disagreements all over the world. But even on a more minor level, people are having disagreements with friends, families, workers. And this, in terms of soul transformation therapy, means they're experiencing the polarity of war and peace. Another polarity would be slavery and mastery. And this is when you're experiencing yourself in a situation, for example, where you're in a role where you're very subservient and you're being oppressed by another. Could be the other way around. You might be the oppressor. But again, there's this kind of polarity, this kind of balance of a slave or a master, which appears in our reality. Another one would be wealth and poverty. It's a relative thing, but two different scales, wealth and poverty. Anyway, we want to find out which one is being experienced by the listeners today in such a way as is blocking them from being, their full potential, should we say. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin to just take these cards and drop them down one by one. And I'm going to ask you, Katja, to tell me, you're going to tune into the group
Yes.
as a surrogate, and you're going to tune in and tell me when to stop, and we'll find the polarity which is blocking people.
All right.
Okay, so here we go.
This one.
This one, okay. So what we've got, right, we've got wisdom and folly. Wisdom and folly. So this is an interesting one. In order to become wise, we have to make mistakes. And once I start to work on this, I begin to immediately to receive some information. And what I'm receiving here is that the people who are with us today, who are viewing this, we've got some very wise souls. But in order to connect with that wisdom, they've had to make mistakes along the way. And some of those mistakes have been at an unconscious level. And if we have a look at the symbol, you can see that it's like what we call a coil spring. It's like something that's particularly resilient. It's almost bouncing up and down, giving you a kind of suspension in order to deal with the hard emotional knocks that we experience on this planet. So when this comes up, this indicates that there's some lesson around wisdom and folly, but it's particularly related to emotional sensitivity. So there's some issue for those watching today around emotional sensitivity, something that needs to be healed. Mm-hmm. But the interesting thing with this one is it's very much an unconscious thing, something that's happening on an unconscious level. And as a soul transformation therapist, what I need to do is I need to kind of get to the bottom of it and find out a little bit more and see what else is going on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose another card now, or ask you to choose another card, and see if we can go a little bit deeper into what might be actually blocking people. So let's go. Here we go. You tell me when to stop, Catcher. So going now.
This one.
This one?
Yeah.
How interesting. Right. So this one is 4 arrows coming down into a physical space. 4 arrows are representing spiritual energies. And these are spiritual energies which are coming down. Well, it's into a box, but that means into a physical space. Mm. So that means spiritual energy coming down into a place, a business. And this is very much the energy of someone who sets up a kind of spiritual center, spiritual retreat, a spiritual business, or a spiritual product, like a book. So this could be representing some of your listeners who are wanting to maybe write a book, or to open a retreat, or to open a spiritual business, or to develop and expand their spiritual business, and let other people come in and experience the spiritual energies which are coming down for them. Yeah. Okay. So that's the card that's come up. That means there's some little difficulty around that, something that's blocking us. Now, in soul transformation therapy, I created a chart which gives information. When you've got the card come up, you look at the polarity and you look at the card, and it will tell you there's about 144 different possible issues, main issues that clients have. So I'm just going to have a look now and see for this one, with the arrows coming down to the box, if I put that together with the polarity, which was this wisdom and folly, let's just see what comes up for people. Okay. So what we've got is something called fear of exposure, a pattern called fear of exposure. And this one comes up so much for therapists. It's a big one. This is all about, we want to share our gifts in the world, but there's some like fear there that we've had. And I think, many of us have been through that, who step into the world of therapy. It's that, putting yourself above the parapet, claiming your spirituality, saying, look, this is what I do. I'm here to be of service. I'm here to heal. And of course, there's all the, unconscious fears that come along with that. So we have, concerns around judgments from other people. And there can be the kind of ancestral and sort of, you could call it past life stuff about, times when you've been burnt at the stake for doing this kind of work or whatever. There'll be different things that are affecting people there. So that's the issue. That's just so that that's what's been going on for you, which might be holding you back from moving forward. Many of you will be moving forward, but if we can work on this and clear this, and you may have even done some work on this, but this is another little level we've got to tick off today. It's going to help you be even more of who you are. And for some people, this might be that domino or that linchpin that needs to be healed or cleared today in order for you to really move on big time. So, as I mentioned, there's 7 different ways that we can work with this in soul transformation therapy. Sometimes we need to work like a shaman, and we need to do a soul retrieval. Sometimes we need to work with archetypes and parts. So we need to do some parts and archetypes work with different subpersonalities. Sometimes we need to work more on the psychological level and work on our beliefs. And other times we need to work on our boundaries, so boundary issues, our control issues. Sometimes it's trauma in the body, and we have a method where we work on releasing trauma and old stuck sadness and other emotional energies that get stuck in the body. But I think what I'm going to do today is, what I'm feeling is I want to do something called core balancing with you. And this is where we clear some of those, you could call it energetic cords and attachments that may be going on at more of an unconscious level to maybe people, things, ideas, which are no longer serving you. So I'd like to do a healing meditation for the clients for this. So this is a little bit, for some people who might have learned to cut ties, this is a little bit like that, although we call it core balancing because we're connected to everything ultimately. So it's more a matter of balancing those energies.
Yes, that sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. So this is where you sit back and just take a comfortable position and close your eyes for a moment now while I guide you through this. So what I'm going to ask people to do is just to maybe remember a good memory of a time when you're feeling really good, feeling really relaxed. And if nothing comes to mind, then just imagine yourself in a beautiful place. Step into your body and enjoy that feeling of relaxation. Notice where it is. Notice whereabouts in the body you feel most relaxed right now. There might be some parts which don't feel so relaxed, other parts which do. Notice where you feel most relaxed right now. Give that part of you a color and let that color spread around you. Let that color spread all around your body, and then sense that there's a glow on the outer aspect of you, on your energy field, all around you, above your body, below your body, around your body. Sphere of light. And this is a light of protection, healing, and harmony. And imagine now you surrounded by that light, that you're floating like a star, floating like a star in the universe, surrounded by other lights and other configurations, some representing people in your life, some representing ideas, beliefs, things that have come from the past, maybe groups or organizations, schools, workplaces that you've been, all represented in the space. And many of these people or structures, energetic configurations ultimately have attachments to you in different ways. Some of these attachments are healthy, but some of these attachments are not so healthy, and some are linked to old ideas and old fears, and maybe even attached to people from this time or even from times gone by who've suppressed you, oppressed you in different ways, or limited you. But now it's time to connect with the full power of your soul and let go forever of these attachments, of the unhealthy attachments. So I'd like you to imagine now that the sphere around you begins to spin. That's right, it's beginning to spin, and as it does, it's severing any unhealthy cords and attachments. They're disappearing, they're dropping off. That's right. There may be some thing to say, letting go, even forgiveness doesn't need to be. That's up to you. But just allow that spin to continue now. Until eventually it's beginning to slow down. As it does, I'd like you to repeat these words with me. You can repeat them in your mind, you can repeat them out loud. It's up to you. I now break any ties, vows, or commitments that I have made. I now break any ties, vows, or commitments that I have made. Anyone or any intelligence in my field has made. Anyone or anyone in any intelligence in my field has made. With any people, thought forms, intelligences, constructions, ideas, or energies. You just need to have that intention now, that you're breaking any ties or commitments that you've had. Anything, I break any ties or commitments that have held me in limitation. I break any ties or commitments that have held me in limitation. I claim my mastery. As a physical and spiritual being integrated, as a physical and spiritual being integrated on the earth plane, to share the gifts of my connection, to share the gifts of my connection. That's right, the connection to your soul, connection to the full power of your soul, the connection to everything. See an image of yourself in front of you right now. Look into your eyes and tell yourself, I love you, I forgive you, you are blameless, you are free. I love you, I forgive you, you are blameless, you are free. Good, and the sphere begins to come to a stop now. And just feel that light around you, within you, just expanding. And just notice how you feel light and you feel free. You just begin to feel that light is integrating right into you, right into your physical being. There's a light within you, a light without you. Feel that light coming right into your being, right into your bones, right into your marrow. As it does, that'll begin to ground you, and that'll begin to bring you back to the room. And just know that that strong aura remains around you now. And just have a look around. You probably feel things maybe look a little bit brighter. You may feel a little bit more full, a little bit more truly who you are. Good, thank you.
Thank you, Blue. That was so uplifting, so beautiful. And the whole session, I think that will help so many. This fear of being exposed is a huge thing. And also, when you shared the card in the beginning, the wisdom and fullness, like so many times we are afraid to share our gifts because, well, sometimes they are a little bit different than what we are used to.
I
So
know.
it's just beautiful, beautiful work here today.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you've got a wonderful ability to draw like-minded people to you. Um, but, as we know, we sometimes we are a little bit different, people who are drawn to this, but that's something to be celebrated.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's,
Now, I'd like to just get the cards out once more now,
yes,
Katja, because whenever there's been a healing, and we've all joined in the healing, I sense, you know, beyond time and space, whenever we do this, because some people will listen to this later, but there's a sense of, who's here. And, one of the things I enjoyed was that by the nature of some of the people who've been drawn to join us in this, that's actually accelerated and strengthened the power of what we've just done now. And the healing's taken place. So when this healing's taken place, there's always a gift that comes with that, because whatever we've been through, we've learned something from that. And that's what we're doing. We're learning, moving from folly to wisdom. So there's a gift here for us. And I would like to let people know what has been healed today. So I'm going to go through the cards again 3 more times. But the first thing is we need to find out what has been healed today. So you tell me when to stop.
that one.
This one.
Mm-hmm.
The flow of spirit and expansion. This is all about our ability to flow with our spirit, but to be a wise guide to others through the mistakes, learning from the mistakes that we've made. So this is like the energies of an explorer. You can imagine someone who's an explorer going up the mountain. And you, as in everyone here, you've been that person who's been exploring, going up the mountain. Sometimes you've gone onto one edge and found you can't go any further that way. Sometimes you've ended up going down and you've gone into a bit of a rabbit hole. Sometimes you've come across a block in somewhere or other and you've had to move around it. But gradually you've been going up. And now you can look down and you can see others who are coming up, and you become that guide, that wise guide. So this is the wise guide to others.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's been healed, your ability to truly do that and to own that and to feel good about that and to be free to do it and not care about anyone's judgment or not have to fear any irrational, unconscious fears, because you're free to do that now. That's your birthright. Okay, so that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So next one, we have to find out what we need to do more of in order to really capitalize on any healing. This is where you need to kind of really use it now. And this will give us a clue what we need to do going forward. So you tell me when to stop.
That one.
This one. The divine on the inside and the divine on the inside. This is called soul creativity. And
Mm.
this is all about being really creative, but in a soul way, and trusting your gut instinct and going with your gut instinct. So this is indicating to me that there's going to be some opportunities arise. And what we need to do is we need to take those opportunities. The opposite of this one is being risk adverse. But this one is trusting your gut instinct. If something feels right and it's coming up for you now, know that it's for your expansion. That's the expansion.
Mm.
So trust your gut instinct. That's the one thing that I'd ask you to take away from this. Trust your gut instinct and look for some opportunities, because I suspect there's going to be some opportunities arising for you now that you've cleared the space, cleared some things that were holding you back. If you do that, this is the future. So this is the tarot bit, if you like, telling you your future. This is why I become a fortune teller, telling you your future. I need to get my hat, don't I? Anyway, Katja, you tell me when to stop.
Yeah, it's the first one.
First one. Beautiful. Love this one. This is love and knowledge. This is love and knowledge. And this is representing someone who is a spiritual teacher. So this is representing you as a spiritual teacher, someone who gains lots of knowledge and then they share that out. And see these two lines in the middle, it's like representing expansion. This in the Hebrew, all of these symbols relate to one of the Hebrew letters, the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. And this one, Lamed, which is number 12 in the Hebrew, if you look at the Hebrew glyph, it's higher, it's taller than all the others because it's representing one who's expanding or something that's expanding up beyond limits. So this is indicating that there's going to be a lot of spiritual expansion for you now. Trust your gut instinct. And, this is what you can step into. Love and knowledge. And it's beautiful, loving energy where you're gaining lots of knowledge, but you're sharing it and you're really enjoying sharing that with other people. So whether you do that for your spiritual businesses, your centers, your books, or just connecting with people and just, helping everyone you meet or doing something to help people on a daily basis, one way or another, is something that you can step into now.
Wow. I think that's a really great news for everyone as well, like really allowing yourself to shine your light and share your gifts and succeed, because that's what's calling you from your heart. So taking those steps and believing and trusting that gut, trusting that calling. So this was super, super beautiful. So thank you, Blue, for the supporting us this way today.